Hey, you ever notice this on this whiteboard? Now, the rest of it says do not overpay. And that's a message that I've had on this whiteboard for probably, I would have to guess about a year, ever since I put this up here. And it's a constant reminder, more so for myself, but I'm sure a lot of you have caught a glimpse of this message here at some point in the past. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is a credo that I'm finding it very hard to justify now. Um, as an avid buyer, seller, and trader of numismatics, coins, currency, I'm actually going through a little bit of inventory in addition to taking a look at wish lists. I do wish lists for prospective clients that are looking for specific pieces. I go on the secondary market. I look locally to find these items with generally pretty decent success, unless it's like a really low mintage kind of coin or whatever. And it used to be a little bit easier to do. I would say pre-pandemic, yeah, 2019, 2020. I would say I was hitting my stride. But I've come to realize as I'm going through inventory, taking a little look at wish lists, and I do this every single. This is like a thing I do every morning. I'm very methodical, and I'm regimented in my schedule every morning, along with trying to put up a pretty decent video for you guys. Um, I'm finding that I'm checking off the boxes less and less with each month. Um, and you've heard me say this: high quality coins and currency are disappearing off the market at a much faster rate, and they're not being replenished for future sales. And I'm seeing that. I'm seeing less quality stuff. And the quality stuff that is going out into the marketplace are commanding incredibly strong money these days. So the question is, especially if you're into buy sell trade game and not necessarily the individual, and I think I speak for probably half of you that don't really collect, but maybe you're interested in selling an inheritance, something that was passed down to you. Maybe you had an old collection that you put together when you were a kid, or when you're in college or whatever, and you want to go and move that. This probably doesn't isn't as applicable for this type of scenario, but for someone who is constantly into buy sell trade game, who is a hardcore collector, man, I love me some coins. I love collecting money. There's just something mystical and just romantic about it. I think it's really cool. For the longest time, people have seen it as kind of like an old man sport, maybe a geeky kind of sport. But today, I think it's one of the coolest things you can do. It shows that I don't know what it shows. Is it a status symbol? I don't know. It could be, depending on what you collect. I mean, if you're a big baller like that, then there are different ways and kind of different tiers to collecting. But there's no wrong way of collecting. But I find it hard to even try and source out some of the coins and currency, not only for my collection but also for my clients. In addition to paying what I feel like is a reasonable amount of money. It used to be when I talk to the people that hire me to headhunt for some of these pieces, I tell them, okay, if I found this, I could charge you this amount of money for it. Okay, that's going to include my fee, my base rate, and finding the item. Okay, not so longer. I've had to put a little bit of a fine print on my services when I go out to look for these pieces, and say, yeah, the prices are to be determined. Because the market is so damn volatile right now that I can't 100% say, yeah, I could find this 1880cc Morgan dollar for you in Mid State 65 and say, yeah, it's $1,000. I can't do that anymore. There's pieces that sell for $1,500. There's another one that sells for $2,000. There's another one that sells for $1,250. There's just incredibly all over the place. But finding the right piece in the marketplace is also another battle I have to contend with. So, for those of you out there that are in the market of selling your coins and currency, I want you to think long and hard about this, especially if there's some sort of emotional attachment to it, which I have a number of pieces, and there have been a number of pieces that were in the family that were my dad's I had sold in the past. Be ready to sell your items at a much inflated market premium based off of today's values and expect to never see a coin like that or the same coin ever again. These coins generally will go into the marketplace and they will disappear. A lot of what are people doing is not only are they collectors, but they're also investors. They're hoarders by nature. I know I am. I hear it every day from my wife. Man, you're a hoarder. Look at your closet. Look at the safe deposit box. Look at this. Look at that. And I say, yeah, because at the end of the day, when I leave this world, they're gonna end up getting these collectibles, that can go to pay off bills, that can go to pay off the house, that can go to pay for the kids' education, things like that. But just be prepared. Once you sell these items, you will never get it back. 6 years ago, that wasn't exactly true because there are pieces that I've purchased back from clients close to what I sold them for. But today, no longer the case. Be prepared to never see those items, nor have the ability to replace those particular collectibles close to what you sold it for. Especially if you're selling it locally through a coin shop, obviously you're going to be taking a pretty decent hit with the wholesale levels. Now the wholesale levels through the dealer level, gray sheets and all that have been going up. Okay, they go up and up and up and up. 2 to 3% every month, ain't nothing. Okay, it's compounding kind of increases. 2% on top of the 2% on top of the 2%. It just continues to stack. And you'll see it in a 12 to 18 rolling kind of like cycle. You'll see the bigger picture. You'll see the bigger gains that way. But it's an incredible kind of like turn of events that we're seeing, not only in collectibles, but also just in the regular world where we're buying consumer goods. For those of you that have been shopping for a new automobile lately or a new house, you guys have probably seen something like this before. With the whole the chip production issue, the supply chain stuff going around. You step onto a car dealer lot, and there's a lot of $5,000 to $10,000 markups. You see even bigger markups on some of the more marquee cars and trucks out there. Trucks especially is huge. If you ever tried shopping for maybe a new F-150 or that new Silverado, new Ram truck, even a new Tacoma or whatever, you'll notice that you're going to have to pay a hell of a lot more for these automobiles. And a lot of people, I see a lot of the laughing emoji, but it doesn't really matter. They're going to sell out of these vehicles with the adjusted premiums and markups on them. But it's the same thing. If you have a truck yourself that's maybe a year or two old that you bought toward the bottom of the market, pre-pandemic, okay, everybody was, these manufacturers and car dealers thought, I'm not going to sell any cars and trucks. Nobody's working. So, they dropped their pants on a lot of these vehicles from about March to close to the holidays in 2020. But then found out that there was actually a huge demand for it because there weren't nearly as many being produced with the whole chip shortage and all that. So if you have one to sell, you got to keep in mind, if you want to sell it but get into another automobile, that you're going to be paying through the nose. It's almost sometimes a power play to just kind of stand pat, whatever it is that you have that you're interested in selling. Because you could realize 40 to 50% gains, right now in this marketplace and whatever you sell, from collectibles to automobiles to travel trailers and homes. But you got to replace it, right? You need another automobile. You need to go, unless you wanted to buy like a beater Honda Civic, all right, which they're out there. And probably all jacked up and modified and not looking good. But when you go to sell your house, and then you got to turn around, you got to buy another thing, and it's almost kind of counterintuitive to do something like that because you have to get into something else. So that's something to think about. When you have a collection you're ready to sell and you want to take advantage of the market, be prepared to never see these items ever again in any capacity whatsoever, because there are dealers, there are collectors and investors that are looking for any market acceptable type of coin out there. Um, and Yeah, I'm feeling very sad right now because there are coins that I've sold about 8 to 10 years ago for this much money. That if I try, like for example, there was a Civil War token. There's probably two or three known that I had found and graded through NGC. I ended up selling for $1,800 right around when I did find it. And after it came back grading, I had actually a prominent Civil War token collector buy that for $1,800. I thought it was a pretty decent amount of money, but in today's market, if I needed to replace that coin, number one, I'm gonna have to turn over every rock. I'm gonna have to reach out to every resource to find that same exact coin. And that coin today is probably a five-figure coin. I am gonna go cry in a corner now. So, yeah. See you guys.